Hello and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for the Challenge All-Stars Episode 6. This is my favorite episode of the season thus far, and I cannot wait to start talking about it. So why wait? So let's just jump right in talking about this week's daily challenge. So this week's daily challenge was called Escape the Room, and can I just say, this daily challenge was awesome. It's so creative, it's so inventive, yet it's so simple at its core. It's just people standing at a puzzle trying to solve it before their trapdoors open and they fall right through to the water. I mean, the way you have to be so mentally tough to get through this daily challenge and to stay calm under so much pressure. I mean, the anticipation would have killed me if I was in this daily challenge, just standing there. Like, think of Darrell's Stanky Leg, and I think my arms would just be shaking, especially once I see somebody just falling right through the floor. I don't do that well under pressure situations. And so to see everyone like trying to figure out this puzzle, which, I mean, this puzzle had lines, it had a letter, it had different gradient of gold from top to bottom to really screw up your mind, let alone the pressures of being in a container lifted up 30 feet into the air and a trapdoor that will drop you at some point. In some time interval, it'll just open. You have no idea. I love this daily challenge, and I hope to see something like this or this kind of creativity going into the main season of the challenge. Also, it was really fun to watch because just the reactions that everyone was having, like Darrell when trying to help Kellyanne, and then all of a sudden she drops through and then he just stands there like a statue, like, I know it's coming, I know it. Kellyanne jumping a little bit, Hazella jumping when Alton falls through the floor. It was such a fun daily challenge that I really do hope that this is the type of energy and challenge we are going to be seeing coming into the main season, hopefully soon. Another reason why this episode is my favorite has to go to the elimination. This elimination, first of all, this game is one of my favorites. The end of your rope, the tug of war from War of the Worlds, from War of the Worlds 2. This elimination gives you everything. This elimination has physicality in it, it has endurance, it has strategy that you have to invoke. And to me, this elimination is so simple. It's just a tug of war while people are standing on stumps with an extra long rope. But there's so many paths to win a round, whether it's getting somebody off their stump or taking all the rope or having them drop their rope. There's so much at play here, and it's so well done, let alone how great the matchups were. Let's be real, if I'm one of the guys still in the game watching this elimination between Mark and Laterian, I'm happy for whoever wins and whoever goes home, because if you have these two guys who are beefed and jacked going against each other and taking one out, that's another guy who's less in your way at the end of the day. And can I just say, before we get into the rest of this video, I have to give a major shout out and major respect to Laterian coming on to do this season, and seeing him on the cast, I kind of scratched my head going like, oh, they got him? I wonder how he's going to do on this season. He came to play, he came to make a name for himself, he came to prove that he is a challenger. And I have to say that I'm really sad to see Laterian leave this early in the game, because I think he would have stood a great shot of winning the finals if he would have stayed in this game. And to me, I really hope that we see him in another season of All-Stars. There's no doubt in my mind that we're gonna get another Challenge All-Star season, and the way Laterian came in and just like won the first elimination, he won the mini final, I just think that this dude has so much left to give, and I want to see him on multiple seasons of Challenge All-Stars. Hate to see him go, hate to see Katie go, but alas, somebody had to be eliminated. I just hope that we get to see them both come back onto the challenge at some point. And now let's crown the king and queen of this episode, my MVPs, the standouts from this episode, and I'm gonna crown the king, and the king definitely has to be Big Easy. He came in, crushed that puzzle, he did it so quickly too. He was the only person to finish it 100% correct. He won it for his team hands down. And we also got to see him do a great job on the puzzle in the mini final, where he figured out the math word phrase rather quickly. I think that Big Easy could be the puzzle master. There's always going to be a question about his endurance, but when it comes down to puzzles, Big Easy has been crushing it. He's the king of this episode. And now let's go over to the queen. And I have to crown Kendal. I think this is my third time crowning her queen in this season, but she's crushing it. She actually finished her puzzle, albeit upside down, in the daily challenge. She could have gotten it 100% correct, the only other person to get it 100% correct, but she got it 100% correct upside down. And then going into her second elimination of the season and destroying and showing that she is a powerhouse and somebody to be worried about, I have to give it to Kendal because she is just crushing this season, and I hope she can make it to the finals. And if she does, I have to say that everybody else should be worried because she is a huge threat to win this money. Now let's read some comments from my Thursday's review and recap, and the first comment comes from Echo, who says, Darrell's stanky legs commentary had me rolling. I swear if him and Jemmy were the only two to narrate the season, I would be okay with it. Darrell's commentary has been awesome this season from the very beginning to now. I want to see him make it into the finals because one, I want to see him win, but two, I just can't live without that commentary. The next comment comes from Ina, who says Big Easy has been really impressive in puzzles this past season. Yes, he has. I did mention that he did really great in the mini final, and then he crushed this puzzle. We got to give credit where credit is due. Big Easy, I think, is being slept on, at least in the puzzle department. I don't know about endurance. We're going to have to wait to see if he can make it to the finals and how he will do in the finals endurance-wise. The next comment comes from No Names, who says, these daily challenges are so good. I hope MTV is looking at the reactions and take notes for the next season. Yes, more of escape the room and less drone control from double agents, please. Don't get too complicated and too complex with it. Let's just have a puzzle in a pod over water and then drop people. That's all we want, and it's so much fun. The next comment comes from Bianca, who says, overall loving this season. Only complaint is wish people would stop volunteering to go in. I want to see how votes play out. Also, last week is the last elimination. Then final already? Will there be a purge either next week or within the final? Because I feel like there are still a lot of people for a final. Yes, that's my only critique, is that everyone keeps on volunteering, but it kind of reminds me back to like season 20 Cutthroat, where everyone on the team, if they were gonna go in, was like, oh, you went in last time, I'll go in this time. And they had people volunteering, self-voting to go into the elimination. So I feel like it's just a different mindset when coming into the game. I would rather see everyone voting in and backstabbing and trying to like conjure up votes against somebody else so that they are safe, but everyone keeps on volunteering. It becomes a little like boring and predictable when it does happen that way. But yeah, there is a ton of people left in the game. When I heard in the sneak peek that we had only one elimination left, I was like, wait a minute, how many people are going to be in this final? So I wonder if there's going to be multiple legs in the final where people are going to be purged. So I do think that there is going to be a purge. I just don't know if it's going to be just like in a random daily challenge before the final or within the final, or it could be both. The next comment comes from XNatX, who says, it's funny to see the massive difference between the OGs and the newer players. Some people like Derek and Laterian offered to go in and give everything they've got. If this were the case in the real challenge seasons, all, if not most, of the guys would be running in the opposite direction, and if they didn't want to go in, hey, at least they made it funny. True, I think they were more worried about going against Mark than it was like wanting to be paired up with Katie. Yeah, there's definitely a difference in like thought process of like, hey, if you need me to go in, I'll be there with you. I'm not afraid to go into the elimination rather than what we have been seeing in the challenge. Carly comes in with the next comment, who says, I feel that Kendal is the best out of the girls and is the main female threat. She's proven to be good at puzzles, running physical challenges, and eliminations. I think her doing yoga helps her stay calm. Also, hopefully she makes it to the final. Yes, 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 and completely yes. I completely agree on your comment. And the next comment comes from Six Red Fish, who says, I'm really happy Kendal is proving a lot of people that she has it. I want to see Hazella in an elimination after her wanting Kendal constantly out. Sucks to see LT and Katie go. If we go back to the mid-season trailer, I think I remember seeing Nehemiah, Big Easy, Hazella, and Kendal in an elimination, and I think we just saw the Kendal in the elimination. So I think the next elimination is going to be a combination of all three of those players with somebody else going into the elimination as well. So I feel like it's kind of been spoiled if the next elimination is the final one. So if that's the case, I feel like we're going to get Nehemiah, Big Easy, Hizella, and somebody else in the elimination next episode. So I think you're going to get what you want. The next comment comes from Jess, who says, I had no memory of Laterian from his season, but he was the standout male player of the season. He's the player I'd most want to have my back in any situation. Completely agree. And the way he was like talking in the confessionals right before the elimination, I was getting pumped up. I was getting jazzed. I was like, yeah, let's do this. I feel like I can do anything. I think he's like a great personal trainer if he has that mental attitude and bringing it to his clients. I mean, if he was anywhere near me, I would take his classes. And the next comment comes from Nick, who says, so since Mark said in the aftermath that the elimination was an hour and a half long, how many rounds do you think they split around and was edited out? I'm sure there was a ton of rounds they split and they kept on going 0-0. I know that Katie and Mark both said in the aftermath that they were taking breaks, especially him and Laterian, like they would like go for a while and then they would each give each other breaks. Now that's something we wouldn't see on the main season of the challenge, but hearing that is kind of like heartwarming to hear the type of sportsmanship in the Challenge All-Stars. They have so much respect for each other and they want to give each other all they've got to try to win, and so they would give each other breaks. So I'm sure that played a factor in it as well, that they would give each other a lot of breaks. But I'm sure there was a ton of rounds that somebody would either drop the rope or they were going over and over again, just like tying each other, that they just decided to cut it out. I thought the rounds were going really, really quickly too. So the way they edited it was like really, really like bang, bang, boom. Like round 2 took like no time whatsoever when Mark like got Laterian off his stump rather quickly. Like that round was less than a minute, I think, in the actual like episode. And the final comment comes from Alex, who says, I am sad that there is only one more elimination. I'm sad for it too, because that means that the season is coming to an end and we're that much closer to the final, which I'm very excited about. But once we hit the final, that means there's only so many more episodes left before the inevitable end to season 1 of All Stars. But what makes me excited about this is that there's still more episodes to come and that it's so good that I'm definitely thinking that there's going to be a season 2. I'm almost 99.99% sure. I'm Lysol sure that we're going to get another season or 2 or 3, and I cannot wait for that. But that is it for this week's episode of Tiny Table Talk for All Stars. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Are you sad to see Laterian and Katie go? Let me know that. Who do you think is going to be in next week's elimination, the final elimination? Do you think it's going to be Hizella? Do you think it's going to be Nehemiah and Big Easy? Do you think they gave it away in the mid-season trailer that we got? Let me know that in the comment section below. And if it is those three, who do you think is going to be the other woman in the elimination going up against Hizella? Let me know that in the comment section below. And are you excited for next week's daily challenge, which is the truck basketball hoop dunking one? I'm excited because we've been like waiting and anticipating this one over and over again in all the promos and in all the commercials, so I cannot wait for next week's daily challenge. I really just can't wait for next week's episode. I'm so excited. But what do you think about it? Let me know that in the comment section below. Who are you rooting for heading into the finals, and who do you want to see get eliminated before the finals? Let me know anything and everything you think about this season down in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge All-Star content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.